an open Smith. Steve Smith is going to go all the way. No flags down. Smith scores, and the Carolina Panthers win in overtime.
With the first pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Bryce Young, quarterback, Alabama.
And she loses the football. Scooped up by Burns. Brian Burns to the house.
Welcome to the Stop Captain Sports Podcast.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
What is going on? Back again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Got Seth and James going on today's show. We got ourselves a streak.
Hey, little streak over 500. Can't tell me shit, son.
We should come in here with our clothes off, man.
Bro,
we got
every
a
day,
streak.
every Monday I'm walking in. How about them Panthers, baby? How about them Panthers?
I couldn't talk to this one guy today, but I saw him down the hallway, and I just shot up the W. I was like, "Hey, we got us another one."
Hey, it feels good, man. It feels good to be on the winning side,
Yeah.
You know, it sucks getting on here, and have to talk about us losing again and then pick out the issues, even though it's not pretty across the board. I'm not sitting here saying it's been flawless, but it's good to see the good things happening, and you kind of seeing it starting to develop into something. Even though it's kind of blurry, I think Dave Canal said that himself. It's still blurry on exactly what it is, but it's starting to kind of get a little bit clearer as the weeks go on, and you're starting to see improvement by the young guys, and that's been the biggest thing for me is just maybe to kick back and kind of see the young guys flourish with their opportunities.
Yeah, and talking about that too, what was it, just 3 weeks ago we were talking about why aren't we seeing more of these rookies, maybe 4 weeks ago, as far back as it goes, but
yeah,
we were sitting there saying we want to see more of these guys. We have seen a whole lot more of them.
A lot more of them.
Ted has still been T-Mac has still been out there doing his thing. Mitchell Evans,
yes,
who
tight end one.
Yeah, he's shown up, dude. Nobody even really talked about him. Now we got Jimmy Horn, game 2, getting catches. I think he only had 1 catch or 2 catches this past week, right?
Yeah, and I think he had like the end around whatever.
Yeah,
they seem to
run really that. After Bryce went out, I don't know if we count much of that anyway, but
correct. Yeah.
A lot of these guys, again, to the rookies, Jimmy Horn, Mitchell Evans, again, T-Mac on the defensive side, Scorton, your mommy Ellen, Ransom.
Dude, big. I mean, the impacts they make, defensively. Yeah. Speaking of Princely and Scorton, we got to see the impact that what they could do when they're on the field with the snaps. You know what I mean? That's the important thing is getting these guys out here and getting them snaps. But how about XL, bro? How about XL with the, I told Dean today, I was like, honestly, for the Panthers, when it comes to wide receivers, that's the best performance we've seen from one this year. T-Mac shined, you know what I mean? But you're talking about putting together a full game. It definitely goes
7 or 9 receptions.
I think it was 7 for 95 and a touchdown. So, I want to see that. You know what I mean? I know Dean was kind of. I wouldn't say Dean. I think we're all kind of like, hey, move to the side, XL. But he needed that game more than anybody on this roster. If we're being honest, like he needed to know that, hey, when my number's called, I can be that difference maker on the field. I can move the chains. I can be the reason we win the game. And he scored the only touchdown the Panthers had this week. Yeah. So he was the biggest factor of this game, in my opinion, is him just coming up and doing what we have been expecting or hoping he could do, going into the season. It started off slow, but he listened and he's just out there. He's like, all right, I'm just going to prove you wrong. And that's what he's kind of been doing. So.
Yeah, and the thing with XL, this is where I can still see a little bit of the body language, like almost like he's the doubt in him. Mm-hmm. We've seen him even last year at those big times riding, galloping on his horse and stuff, the energy and everything. That energy is not currently there, and it could be that he's still a upset about things and how things have went. But I see it in his body language a little bit still, almost like he's still trying to, build that confidence.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more growth that can happen from him too.
Correct.
So
100%.
I think he hasn't reached, and not his plateau, because he's definitely been pretty low here lately. But I can definitely see the room for growth. Where a few weeks ago it was like, what are you doing? Weeks 1 and 2, it's like that guy. I don't see now, but I can still see him trying to shrug that stuff off too. But it's good that he's had two good performances. He sort of built on it. Bryce went heavy to him early too. It wasn't just Andy Dalton and stuff like that at the end. That pass from Andy Dalton to him, I was like, where in the world is this ball going?
Yeah. But I mean, that's XL, you want him to be able to do that. You want him to go up and use that body and high point it. And it was caught with the body. A lot of those catches were caught with body, but it's whatever, man. Just come up with the receptions. And that's been the biggest thing. That's why I wish Dean was on tonight, because I know he has some opinions different from mine. And I think I made the statement a couple weeks ago when I said, I'm not going to let this team upset me on Mondays. And I no longer want to, and this is just me, I'm just one fan. I'm different from the rest of them, but I don't want to go in after every week and pick out the negatives for this team. I think where I've come to the conclusion with, I know what the Panthers are. The Panthers are a young team. They're developing into their own, and it's going to take time for these younger guys to really come into their own and really, show what they can bring to this roster. I think the biggest thing over the last 3 weeks is yes, you can use the asterisks you want, whatever. It was bad run, Rico Dowdle carried us 2 games, defense lights out like this past week, to a defensive battle. But when's the last time we can sit here and say, hey, we watched, the Panthers go toe to toe defensively with the team, even though I understand the offense with the Jets is abysmal, that whole situation.
Right.
But these are the games that you're supposed to win. There was no, and to me, there was no thought of the Panthers could go up to New York and lose this week. It's the worst team in the NFL. They didn't have their number one, wide receiver, and we are yet to see Justin Fields beat you outside of week 1 with his talent. You know what I mean? It's been a struggle. And then when all you have to do is worry about stopping Breece Hall, hey, I've mentioned it. You could say what you want about, the pass pro and like not getting pressure, but we've shut down Bijan Robinson. We've shut down Devon Achane. We've shut down now Breece Hall. And who was the week before that? I can't even remember. But what I'm saying is we're shutting down elite talent running backs. These aren't just, these are guys that are top of the league, in top 10, 15 and rushing in the league. So that is the biggest improvement of this team this year, is obviously the run defense. But it's for me, it's looking at all the little things that are continued to grow. And like we mentioned, Mitchell Evans, and seeing Jimmy Horn get more involved. This team is going to find success by getting those guys there. But I think for Dean and a lot of other fans, it's frustrating because you just want more. You want it now. Where I'm sitting back, I'm like, you know what? Let these guys earn it. Let these guys earn their reps. Because if you're on the field and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and when your number's called, you're coming up with that play, that catch, that crucial down, or whatever it may be, as long as you continue to show that hey, I can step up in these moments, you're going to get your opportunities. And that's just clear as can be. We're young. We don't have, we have 100 Renfro, but that's where I think Thielen would have helped a lot this year with the younger guys, especially in the locker room. But I mean, name another team in the league right now that has a second year number 2 wide receiver and then rookies across the board. Yeah, you sprinkle in Mitchell Evans, but you can't name a younger receiver core than the Carolina Panthers right now.
That's a good point.
Maybe you say New England, but other than that, there's not a team out there that has a receiving core as young as the Panthers. So these guys are all learning. Yeah. And for me, that's what makes me feel good about the Panthers going forward. Do I think that the Panthers are the best team in the South? No, I do not. Do I think the Panthers are ready to go and make a playoff run? No, I do not. I do not think any of those things. But what I do believe is that this team is coming into their own. I think they're finding their identity. I think Dean mentioned last week that he didn't feel like they have an identity. It's run the football. It's Carolina Panthers. Keep pounding, run the ball, play solid defense, and just keep yourself in the game. And that's what we've seen the last 3 weeks.
Yeah. I'm glad you said what you did about the, knowing who they are. And I even remember you saying a few, how far back this was. I remember you saying, I just accepted them for where they're at.
Yeah.
I know what this team is. I know what they are right now.
Yeah.
You don't have any lofty expectations. I'd seen, this is the thing. I was thinking this today, and I remember you saying that even like as I was thinking about this stuff today. But it's like I blame the blueprint the Panthers put out. Man, that is some propaganda if I've never seen it. Like they're driving that agenda.
2 years we've been reeled in. Oh, 3.
Dude, I
3 years.
Look, I told my wife, because it's been a curve, especially the first 2 weeks, it was pretty bleak around my house on Sundays, because I definitely let it persuade me in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely let it get to me. So I told my wife, I was like, I'm not watching Blueprint again next year. I was like, because they're the ones that hyped me up. I had us at 11 wins in the preseason.
Yeah, for real.
Off season, I guess, technically, because it was before we even started camp. But yeah, I mean, totally. Like, I had us at 11 wins. Then I was like, as we're starting the season, I'm like 9. 2 weeks ago, I was
7.
like, it's like 5 if the best.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we get 5.
I think a lot of that. I mean, let's be honest. Let's think back. This is where I think the Panthers team we're seeing now is a team that, from like you said, if you watch this is the team you expected week 1 to come in.
Yes.
And I think with the slow start, you know what I mean, and just coming out unprepared, I think that's where it's got them now. I believe this was the team that they were expecting to come into the season with, like this team right here. And it's just taking us a little bit longer. And me and Dean talked today, and I told him, I was like, look, I'm no longer looking back at week 1 and 2 and saying, oh, we gave those games up. Hey, it is what it is. It's the NFL, and again, you put the asterisks on it, but these games we just won, this little stretch we're on, I can't confidently say that the Carolina Panthers won those, that they would win those games last year. I can't say they would have won those games the year before. Sure, not won the year before. So what we're doing is we're taking advantage of the mishaps that the teams that used to do to us. We're no longer allowing. We used to be the team that other teams could have a reset on or get right on. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, you're playing the Panthers. Oh, we can get right this game. You know what I mean? We're becoming that team that says, all right, look, we're not going to allow you just to get right on us or take advantage of what we don't have. We're going to take advantage of what you don't have. And I think that's what the Panthers have done the last few weeks. Now, Rico Dowdle, I wasn't on last week to talk about him, but holy cow. RB1, in my opinion. Now, I love Chuba Hubbard. I'm a big fan of Chuba. We've talked about him here multiple times, how he's a Panther. He's been here. He was drafted here. He's kind of climbed up those ranks, per se, on this team, and he's earned everything he has. But it comes to a point in time where when you see the dominance that he put on the ground, the way he runs, the speed he has, the vision he has, for one, like this dude, he's patient. And when he sees the hole, it's just, he explodes through it. And that's the biggest thing. And that still comes back to the personnel decisions that they're making. I get it. The money went to Chuba, but whatever. But what's going to help your team win now? And I think like right now is getting the right path is getting Rico Dowdle in there. But yeah, again, we could say there's asterisks. There's always asterisks for every game, right? And Rico was a part of those too. You know what I mean? I mean, broke a franchise record, whatever. You can say what you want. Hey, but if that's how we win, if that's how we won those 2 games, that's how we're going to win the 2 games. This last week, we put 125 or 120 something on the ground, combined. Whatever, you're going to have those games. You're going to have the games that you're not carried by your run game. But defensively, this is when you saw chances are, all right, defensively, we stood up. We didn't allow them to because the year before, I mean, it didn't matter if they were first string or second string; they would drive on the Carolina Panthers easily. We just shut it all down. So it's, to me, it ain't about, oh, this guy needs to get the ball. I need to see more of this guy. It's like, no, I want to see this team figure out how to win these football games like this. Like, how do you go in there on the road? You're 0-3. You know what I mean? You're going up against a top 10 defense. And it's like, how do you grind out those wins? How do you go 4 quarters and close it in the end? And I think that's what I'm enjoying seeing, is this team really like not letting other teams run on them or run over them per se. It's just they're grinding, they're putting their heads down, and they're working as a unit, and that's very important.
I mean, literally, they're not being ran over,
No,
so
not at all.
we're stopping the run on offense. We're able to run the ball. I mean, we're stopping the ball on defense and able to run the ball on offense. And I assure you, and this is one thing I said last week too when Dean was talking about that, you can go almost probably 90% of coaches will say, we want to run the football, we want to stop the run.
Yeah.
Like that's your goal as a freaking football team.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, so as far as who they are, I mean, that, the running game is definitely, you always want to try to start to run.
Yep.
Especially in any traditional. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And, I was talking to one of my high school kids that I go and watch play, and I was talking to him, and he's offensive lineman. And I was like, look, you don't just run the football to run the football. Like, it's not I was like, you run the football to set up the whole game. I was like, you run early when you're not making any yardage, you keep running, because all you're going to do is wear down, because that's the most physical play that you can have up front, and you want to wear those guys down in front of you, because and the offensive line is the one delivering the punishment, on every snap. So it sets the tone, like you're saying. It sets the tone. It sets the physicality level of the day. And now we got it where our defensive line is doing that to other offensive lines as well. So our line play has been very much improved. The quality of the talent on defense is a whole lot better. Plus having Derek Brown for sure returning has been huge. Look, he's tossing guys every game.
I mean, like grown man shit.
Yeah.
Like grown man like against boys. It's crazy.
I know we've talked about it before, but I mean, he does it every game. So it's like, it's just something. It's almost a stat at this point. It should be a stat.
Yeah, this game was just what it showed up on the stat sheet, is what it was. Like the impact, his impact's been there. It's just like this game, you got to see it on the stat sheet, And I think that, was it 6 sacks this week?
Yeah,
absurd. And I understand who we were going against, but that says a lot when you bring.
We beat our season total going in.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the biggest difference in this game, you saw Princely and Nick Scorton more than anything. You saw the snap count. Yeah, I'm not saying Princely had a sack. Nick Scorton had what, 1.5 or 2.5 sacks?
I think 1.5.
1.5. So those young guys are getting it. They're getting in there. You don't have Pat Jones, so guess what? You have to call on the young guys now, and they're starting to show. And that's the frustrating thing. You could say is like, oh man, where was this so much earlier? It's like again, it's development. And if you go back and listen to Dave Canales, one of the biggest words he used in the beginning was development. We want to develop these guys. You know what I mean? And he's just staying true. If you listen to him, he's staying true to what he's saying. Going back to the run game, setting the tone. Like you said, most coaches in the NFL would tell you that's where they want to start at, because when you're not having to drop back 40 times, you're eliminating the mistakes. You know what I mean? And that's even more important for the Carolina Panthers, because now you're not asking to put all the workload on young receivers and say, hey, you have to go make the difference. This is allowing these guys to really get comfortable, in what they're doing. And that, obviously Ted is Ted. He's going to be good. He's going to be a future Panther for a long time. I feel like, I think he's the only one that's really locked in his job right now. Everybody else has to earn it. That's the way I'm looking at it. Earn your role. Nobody's, that receiver 2 through 4, I think that's up in the air right now. It's like, hey, whoever shows up, I think they're going to be on the field. Yeah,
I think that should be a fluid situation, to be honest with you. Anywhere 2 through 4, it's like, all right, whatever package we're running that best suits the guy for the route we're going to run or whatever.
Yep.
Like, that's just where it shouldn't be. all right, you're automatically the 2 XL, you're automatically the 2 Coker or anybody else. It should just be whatever fits is what who's going to put out there. And that's what, and even to the Chuba and Rico thing, like the whole thing, like I've been saying, man, I see talent in all these guys across there. And being the idea of you can have your 2 running backs on the field at the same time again, there ain't with shifts and motions and everything else. There's all kinds of possibilities because both of these guys are good out of the backfield. I know Rico's a little bit better than Chuba, but they're both good backs out of the backfield, and they have proved and they can go line up out wide and take a screen pass or a short little pass out in the flats. They've proven they can do that. Both of them are have been good behind the line, running the football. Rico absolutely blew up the past 2 weeks. This week was a little stifled, but here's the thing. I do want to, again, like you said, you put an asterisk on everything. We played 2 of the worst run defenses in Miami and then Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go into New York, is pretty better against the run. I want to say they were like maybe 13th or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the middle. So they're definitely better than Dallas and Miami. And, our numbers were down. And
correct.
Some, you might want to point to, well, Chuba and him were splitting and all that. I mean, I see it more as, I don't think there's that huge of a drop-off. I think a good mix of both of them. And as far as starting or RB1, that would be my thing. I would still like to see Chuba be the starter.
Yeah.
And get first drive, you know what I'm saying? And then, but Rico can tote most, he can get most of the carries.
Correct.
That's something I would not mind seeing.
Yeah. It's similar to what you see in Detroit. If you watch the Detroit game last night, they do the same thing. They alternate drops, but there's certain situations that, let's say it's a David Montgomery drive. It was actually I think the 4th down last night. They played last night or Sunday. Last night. I don't remember. Whatever.
Yeah, Tampa Bay. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a 4th down call, and David Montgomery was running that drive, but they brought in Gibbs for that play. Mm-hmm. So it's like there's certain situations where I feel like down the stretch, because these guys aren't going anywhere. And then people were saying, "Oh, y'all going to trade Rico?" I know. I say that day somebody at work was picking on me. He's like, y'all need to just trade Rico. And I'm like, no, that's crazy. Why would you do that? Like, I think down the stretch, you're going to see, again, it's all about the development. It's all about Canales knowing, obviously, I think his play call still a little iffy at times. All right. And that's fine. But when these guys starting to improve, it's all about knowing when to put these guys in at the right time with Rico and Chuba. That's just my opinion. I think there's going to be times where Rico's going to benefit more than having Chuba on the field at the time, and then vice versa. That screen by Chuba, you know what I mean? It was funny because the offensive lineman, he just outran the offensive lineman. But there's certain situations I think you can put those guys into where they're going to benefit, more than the other. And I think you're just going to see that as it goes. But it's all about growth. It's all about the offense growing. You know what I mean? The most consistent thing to me right now through 2 weeks has been the defense. The defense has played well, especially up front. They've been consistent. The offense is ready.
I mean, Dallas is the number 1 offense, I think, in the league. Is that correct? So, I mean, and they held them under 30.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, and you shut Javonte down, top 5 running back this year,
right? Like
nothing.
So I do have some faith in the defense.
Oh, 100%, dude, and I think they're getting better. Obviously, secondary is still questionable. JC had obviously 2 picks, but he was beat. He was able to recover very well. Turnover is a turnover. However you take it, but I'm ready to see. I think this week is a big test for this team. You're playing by far the best quarterback you've seen all season. I mean, arguably the best in the league to some. So you're going to have a real test. You're going to really see where you're at as a defense. And that's what I'm looking forward to. I mean, I know we're doing projections later, but I just want to bring it up. Do I think the Panthers beat the Bills? No. But don't get blown out. Simple.
Yeah.
Keep it close. Like, do I think you're going to lose? Yes. But do I think you're going to lose by a large margin as long as you continue to play like you have? No, I don't. I think you're going to have yourself in a situation, whether you finish the game or you don't, or you close it out. I think they're still going to have this team in a situation at home to be able to say, hey, you have the opportunity to win this game. And that's what it's about for me. It's about, hey, let's see football. Let's just see y'all grow. Let's just see you be, a tough team week in and week out. We just need consistency, and that's what we've been lacking. I know we've talked about it here, consistency at the quarterback position, offensively, defensively. You just got to be consistent. You can't, we got to put those going on the road and getting blown out by 38, 40 points. That has to be behind us. If you want to continue to move forward, you can't have those games. I'm not saying those games aren't coming or them games aren't going to happen, but if you can mediate it, and don't have multiple in the season, that's showing improvement.
Yeah. Who's the number one person you want to see more out of right now?
Tet.
Yeah.
Because I think he has the ability to be one of those game-changing type wide receivers. Those guys that, I'm not saying that guys don't respect them now, but that also comes back to, and this isn't, I'm going to say this, and I don't want flack, but this isn't a knock on Bryce. But it comes with also seeing more out of Bryce Young. I want to see, and I said this to Dean today. We talked, and I told him, I was like, I want to see what this looks like. Because this is going to tell us how far these guys actually come. When we have to go toe-to-toe offensively with the team.
Yeah.
When the run game's not working, and we have to set back and drop toe-to-toe using our guys, not, just using the young guys and seeing what they can really do. I want to see that happen because I want to see Tet be that game changer, in my opinion. There's other guys. I'm not saying XL, obviously, I want more from XL, but I think XL has it. He just has some other things going on. I think, you mentioned earlier, you can still see it in his body language. That's not a football thing. That's a mental thing. Coker's an undrafted free agent. Let's just be honest for what it is. You know what I mean? He was first.
Anything we get out of him is
it's a plus.
Yeah.
It's a plus. And I think Dean feels that way about Excel. But again, Coker hasn't been. He can't stay healthy. Let's just be honest. You know what I mean? That's been an issue. But no, I think right now it's just Tet and Bryce, and I mean that in a positive way. That's not a knock on Bryce. It's like, hey, I want to see you two guys throw this team on your shoulder and really show them what we can really do. Because I think with Tet makes Bryce better.
Yeah.
And yeah, but right now it's definitely, I want to see more out of Tet. I'm not saying we haven't seen, but we've just seen we've seen spurts. We've seen those big plays. We know what he can do. I just want to see you have that 9 catches, 120 some yards, 2 touchdowns, and you were the factor of the game. That's what I want to see.
Right.
Yeah. What about you?
Jatavion Sanders, and I would add Bryce in there too. Since you definitely went with the second one, I did. He'd have to be my second one too.
Yeah.
But Jatavion Sanders has been a disappointment to me. Even when he was playing before injury, you're dropping balls. You dropped the ball this past week.
Yep.
The athleticism and the hands and catching ability was what he was praised for coming out of college.
Right. Yeah.
And last year I don't remember having this issue with him. I don't remember him dropping balls last year.
No. He was hurdling people last year.
Sideline that he got injured on.
Yeah.
They put him out.
Yeah.
Last year. So I don't. That's and I think beginning of the season I said I thought he would be our number 2 target behind Tet.
Yeah, it was a reasonable quote. You know what I mean?
He has not lived up to it. He has not lived up to what I thought he was going to bring to us this year.
Yeah.
So definitely a disappointment there, and somebody I definitely would like to see more out of. But and in turn that helps Bryce as well. So, and the thing with Bryce, I think you've said it before. If we can keep Bryce at 200 to 250 yards, and he's only throwing 20 to 25 times, that's probably an ideal situation. And you could say 100%. That again for any team in the league, to keep your quarterback throwing around 20, 25 times and you're getting 150 or whatever on the ground from your running backs, anybody probably would sign up for that.
Yeah.
And I think if we could keep the run game going, even with this patchwork offensive line, I will say this for Chuba in defense of one of his runs. Did you see the double guard pull and they ran into each other?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was that's never a good recipe for any positive game. So
no, but we were out, Lewis. So we'll have definitely
which
we're at our
I
two best
completely
guys.
missed until I was watching the game and I was like, what happened to Lewis? I was going to text y'all and I was like, nah, I'm sure I just missed something. But yeah, he was
I think
questionable going in.
they took it up to game time. It was a game time
Yeah.
decision, and then they decided to set him. I actually watched Dave Canales' presser from yesterday, and he said, they asked him about that, and he said, we're still, again, looking at day to day, it's just what he says. We're giving him a little bit more every day and seeing what he can handle. So I expect him probably back this week. It's a big game, so I expect him to be back for sure. But yeah, that was, like you said, patchwork. You're still putting together some things. We haven't really
it's
seen.
sort of good timing with Corbett coming back. He slid over into the guard spot.
I think Mays needs to stay at center. I like Mays at center.
Too.
Yeah, I like Mays at center. He's done very well since Corbett's been gone. That's just what I feel like now. What Dave decides to do. His personnel decisions are questionable at times, but I don't think you can take Mays out of the center position right now because they've played very well right now.
Well, and here's the thing with Dave. I feel like he's figuring it out too, right? Like we're talking about rookies and
100%.
2nd-year receivers and stuff. I mean, we're talking a 2nd-year coach, and I think it wasn't like last year was a great it's a humbling experience, but I mean, you learn a lot of ways not to do stuff, and then you got to pick out, okay, what did we do that worked because so much didn't work. You got to start. He's still trying to develop all that.
Yeah.
He probably had a lot of thoughts coming into it on how he was going to do things, and he learned that, okay, well, this is why other people haven't done it, and maybe it's not going to work. He's got to change stuff. I don't know. But
no, 100%.
You can tell that just by how you could tell that he doesn't have it figured out. To me.
No.
Even the press conferences, I feel like are a little bit like he needs to figure out a little bit better about how to handle press conferences. But he's also dealt with a lot of crappy press conferences, so it probably wears on you.
Yeah, no, I mean, in that position, bro, could you imagine being the coach of Carolina Panthers the last 2 seasons? Like you know what I mean?
I mean, Frank Wright looked like death by the end. He didn't even make it a whole season.
Canales isn't looking like he did start last year. It wears on you. But again, like you said, he's a young coach too. You're seeing little things. He's picking up. He's behind Carroll for a long time, and you're starting to see those little things like that. My biggest thing. Did you watch the mic'd up after the? Was it the? I think it was the Dolphins game.
For Bryce, or
no, for Dave Canales.
I didn't see Dave's name.
Go back and check that out. I brought it up to Dean. I told him, I was like, you just check it out, watch it. You really get to see like the relationship with some of the players and him, on I think what was the one guy that started for us at tackle that game because Moten was out?
Yoshu.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. But at the end of that game, he walks up and he tells, Dave, he said, hey, because Dave Canales was like, hey man, hell of a game or whatever. He's like, hey, that's just, that's making up for week 1. Because he started week 1 and kind of had some yips. He was like, that's just making up for week 1. And then like, DJ Dallas running past him said, yo, thanks for bringing me here, coach. Like you can tell these guys they're buying into what he's doing. You know what I mean? It's just like you said, it's a slow thing. Like as fans, you want more quicker, but I think fans need to step back and just be like, hey, we are who we are right now. Like we're not going out here and we're not rolling teams for, minus Atlanta 30-0. We're not rolling, we're not putting 30, 40 points on the board every week. We're not dropping back, throwing the ball 40 times. There's only 3 guys in the league that I can say can confidently do that. And that's, to me, Mahomes, Allen, and call me crazy, but Baker Mayfield. I think those are the guys you can sit back and watch throw the ball 40 times down the field, put up 400 or 500 yards and multiple touchdowns. We're not that type of team.
And Stafford when he's feeling it.
You know what I mean? Like, and And obviously, you know, when I say stuff like that, you know, people's well, especially my brother, he's like, you know, Bryce, you know, it ain't that Bryce can't do that. I'm not saying Bryce can't do that. I don't want Bryce to do that because I think if Bryce is doing that, it's a bad situation for the Carolina Panthers. That's my opinion.
It's definitely shown to be the case, right? Now, there are times, here's the thing with Bryce, man, there's times when I see him cooking, right? Like on these comebacks against Arizona, like he's delivering the ball. And then we get to that last drive and it's like, oh no, we forgot what we were doing. And that could be play calling or whatever, but there's times when he feels like he's in a groove and he's, you know, moving the football, but it's not consistent. You know, you don't see it game to game.
I think there's times when we praise Bryce for doing things that quarterbacks should be doing. And if that makes sense.
Yeah,
you know what
not
I mean?
turn the ball over.
I think there's some plays there. Now, there are things that Bryce can do that not a lot of other quarterbacks can do. Like the just off the top of my head, that touchdown to league it against Miami, that the one to XL I meant, where he throws with anticipation, you know, before XL's even. I mean, you don't see a lot of quarterbacks do that. And that is something that Bryce has that not a lot of other quarterbacks have. But again, there are plays that Bryce makes down the field. When I see it, I'm like, you're supposed to make those. You were the number 1 overall pick. Like, why are we praising those certain plays when I feel like, hey, those are the plays that the good quarterbacks make week to week, you know?
Right.
And to your example,
that top echelon, yeah.
Correct. And he can't. There's moments where he can make those type of plays, but like you said, it's not a consistent thing. Now, most arguments going to be, oh well, look at his options. That is a valid point. That is 100% a valid point because sometimes great receivers make quarterbacks look better in a situation. You know, a ball placement, whatever. Sometimes a wide receiver just makes phenomenal plays on the ball. And you know, we don't have that at a consistent level either. So, I mean, it all goes, you know, not saying Bryce can't do it, but also, you know, he also don't have the weapons that allow him to do it. And that's why it goes back to say who I want to see more of, Tet, because I think that's the guy that can do that. I think that's the time. He's the guy that when Bryce is under pressure or Bryce has to, you know, he's off just a little bit. You have to be the guy that goes up and makes that phenomenal play as the wide receiver. Make your quarterback look good. You know what I mean? Make your guy look better. You know, you heard Rodgers say it for years about Davante Adams. Say he makes me look good. You know what I mean? Because it was easy because of the wide receiver that Davante Adams was. That's not me saying Tet's Davante Adams. I'm just saying, like, I think he has that pedigree to him that he can be that guy that changes, you know, those where we're seeing it more consistent out of Bryce. We're seeing those wow plays from Bryce Young. You know, but again, I'm with you. It's consistency on, you know, with him and the offense in general, and that's just what it's been.
Yeah.
But when you, like I said, when you sit back and you think about what it is, then it's like, all right, well, hey, we're doing all right. We're doing all right now. You know what I mean? We're not as bad as we were.
No, and the thing is, we're finally playing some respectable football. Like I said, it's that we went so long as like we didn't belong. That's how the past few years have been, or you know, the couple years have been. At least to me, it's like we don't even belong in the same field as a lot of these guys.
No.
You look at how our team operates compared to others, and you know when you watch other guys' games, and you're like, man, this is a whole different level. And Panthers games are nothing like that. Now, the past couple of weeks, the play has gotten better. We've looked more competent, and it's not just because we're winning. You know, it's not just because of wins. It's just we finally look like we know what we're doing.
Correct.
And I'm hoping that we don't let a tougher opponent at some point make us look foolish again, because that's really what we look like, is a bunch of fools.
No, we do, yeah.
We're incompetent and like we don't belong. And that's the worst thing that you really can have.
And we haven't shot ourselves in the foot, man. That's been our biggest thing. You know what I mean? We're not hurting ourselves.
Right.
You know, Bryce's stretch of 3 games, he has 1 turnover and 2 games. We had turnovers against Dolphins, but he had the 1 turnover. But that wasn't his fault. That was Ted's fault. You know, drop ball. So, I mean, as long as you're not shooting yourself in the foot and putting yourself in a hole, this team is keeping you afloat. This defense is keeping you afloat.
And that's the thing too with Bryce. Especially with the defense being as bad as it was at one point last year. So the team balance was hardly ever there. So you're in passing. Got to be passing situations, which doesn't put the quarterback in a good spot. And that's the things where I give Bryce a little bit of a pass, is because he just hadn't been in a good spot in a good situation in a lot of games.
No, 100%.
We've been down. So I still don't think that – I don't see Bryce as a top 5 guy. I don't see him as a top 10 guy. I see him somewhere in the middle if he gets his game, consistent.
Mm-hmm.
He's still in the middle. Maybe he's up to 12 or something top, but I just don't see him as a elite top 5 guy.
Yeah, no, I told Dean I don't think he's elite. I mean, I don't. That's just my opinion. I think he's a good quarterback? Yes, and I think Bryce is going to be a good quarterback as long as the situation around him is good. And yes, that's every quarterback in the league. But I think for Bryce and the Panthers, Bryce owned the Panthers. Let me say that. Bryce owned the Panthers. He's going to be the best part of him as long as the weapons around him are doing their jobs. Yeah. And again, we're not coming back from having to come back from 20 or 17, whatever it may be. Not at this point anyways. Not at this point of where the Panthers are in general. Right. What's it look like next year? We don't know. We don't know who comes in, who leaves. Situations change every year in the league.
Yeah.
So, but right now, we're not that type of team. You know what I mean? But that's the whole thing. Is like you said, it's a balance. You got to have the balance. The balance is the important thing for the Carolina Panthers right now. Is like, hey, keep your head afloat. Don't drown. You know what I mean? Just stay afloat.
Right.
Don't shoot yourself in the foot. Don't do these bonehead plays like Liggett trying to lateral back to Rico Dowdle. You know what I mean? Like,
right. You don't need to do some of that. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to do stuff like that. Luckily that didn't turn into anything, but it's just things like that. And again, what does that come down to? Young players. And I think Rico took the blame for that one, saying, "Hey, that's on me because he asked for the ball."
Right.
But that's the biggest thing for me is that's why when I sent you other guy laying back, it's like, hey, I'm watching good football. It was 9-13. That was the final, or 6-13, and that was a boring game. And I was just like, but you know what? I'm loving every minute of it because hey, the Panthers are winning. I never felt at a moment in that game that the Panthers were going to lose. So
right. It was one of those. It's like it wasn't a horribly played game. It was just a very boring game. It was very methodical, and like neither team wanted to do a whole lot, especially once Bryce went down. They were just like, we're just trying to get to the damn end of the game.
Exactly. That's all it was.
Like, just run this clock out.
Yeah.
So it got very bad toward the end. But I'm gonna tell you, and I texted in the group, I was like, man, I don't want to see Eddie Dalton out here. Like I want to see Bryce out here right now. This is horrible, man.
These are the moments I want Bryce. These are the moments. This is what I'm saying. When we say we want to see more, these are the games you want him in. And it's unfortunate that he won't be available, but I want to see him against the Bills. I want to see him against Green Bay in Lambeau, because you know what? These are the teams that if you're going to go anywhere, these are the teams you're playing. These are the teams you're going to have to go through. And it's unfortunate that he may not be available for both. But you get through these two, you know what I mean? And then you got the Saints, you know what I mean? I think I heard somebody say, you get to the Saints, say you lose the next, 2 games. You're going into, New Orleans at 4-5. You beat New Orleans, and you say through 10 games the Panthers are 500. Yeah. If you're not happy,
I would have said absolutely, I'll take that.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're saying preseason through 10 weeks, the Panthers would be 5-5.
Don't even tell me who the losses are to or nothing.
Yep, you're happy.
Yeah,
you're happy, and that's just where they're at right now, because you have to be better than 5 wins this year. You know what I mean? And I think they will be. Because then if you get to that point down the stretch, that's when you start to kind of, I think by then, I say by week 12, 13, you're really going to see what the Panthers are.
Yeah.
Their identity is going to be in shape. I think these guys are going to be to a level where they're comfortable, and you're really going to see what these Panthers can do down a stretch, and then what you really – I know like you said, the media shit and how the season ended last year, we had a lot to go in on, but this year's different. This year's important. You're seeing a little bit different things because you're starting to see guys develop into their own.
Yeah.
And where last year it was still kind of blurry. You didn't know. Obviously, we didn't even have a number one wide receiver last year. So,
yeah, I still, and that's where, I think at one point John said something about and this may have been the episode that we didn't get to, that we had issues and didn't get to air. But I think John, he asked Dean, so what record gets Canales fired? And I wasn't given an opportunity to give an answer, but I don't think we would have had to lose out completely, and the team would have had to fallen apart.
Yeah.
For that,
you would have to look worse than you did last year.
Right. I just think that I still think we're a good 2 years out from being in the playoffs and being a threat for the NFC Championship.
I agree.
So, how much can you hold against Dave right now? You know what I'm saying? They've rebuilt and refaced this team. This defense, especially, got refaced this past year. I mean, we're talking what we got. Like, is it 5 returning? Is it 5 or 6 returning starters out of the starting 11 on defense?
Mm-hmm.
So. I mean, that's a pretty big, and you're talking depth that was changed over too. So,
yeah, no, 100%.
And it was because it was so bad, right? So there was only, like we said, there was only one way to go. Really, was up. So, and some of these guys are stopgap guys, so we're not, not depending on them long term, and hopefully we're building through the draft. If we have drafts, if this draft class, I mean, with all these guys contributing. Right now, you're talking 2 years on top of that. Hopefully, these guys are still contributors, and maybe we're getting a superstar or something along the way in the draft as well.
Yep.
Because those guys do come out. No matter where you're drafting at, you can hit a guy. You can hit on a guy that's a superstar. So
no, you're right.
And you start adding them on top of these guys that are, if they're nothing more than contributors, then you're building your team.
You're building a foundation is what you're doing. This was a foundation to me. Like you said, all these guys from this past draft are currently contributing on this team. Yeah. You have seen every single one of them set foot on the grass this year. Yeah. We can't say that about the previous, 2 or 3 drafts.
Yeah.
Every guy we drafted from this last year's draft is on the field, and they have made plays this year. You're building a foundation to, like you said, if you hit on that one elite player in the draft, this is what I don't want. I don't want the Panthers to win the South on a hiccup,
right?
And then you're stuck down in the bottom 8 of the draft, and you're missing that opportunity. Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't be happy if the Panthers win the South. What I'm saying is like I don't think they're ready for that. So I want this team to be, top 15, top 20, whatever it may be. And then, like you said, you hit on that one guy, and then you add that to the foundation. And like you said, then you're just building these pieces around, because sometimes when you have a foundation, prime example, the Green Bay Packers, I know it hasn't, they had a foundation. Who they plug in? Micah Parsons. They just went and got one guy, and he's made a difference, and that's all it takes is one guy to make a difference. Luke Kuechly was that one guy for the Panthers of that time that plugged in and changed everything, because you were allowed to go get your Roman Harpers, your Kurt Curlmans, your all those veteran guys that were the piece around this one piece, because he controlled everything on that defense.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we had some more, Thomas, you can name all the, what we were Panthers, fans knew who those guys, but you had Star Lotulelei. I mean, he wasn't crazy. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So you hit on that one guy. You kind of got your guy in Tet. Your Tet offensively. I mean, you're kind of now seeing this could be the guy that we see 10 years from now. Carolina Panthers. Your Steve Smith-esque guy. That guy. And then you just get that guy on the defensive side of the ball, which is Derek Brown currently. But again, either side of the ball, you get that one piece that just boom. And then guess what? It changes everything. It just changes everything. And that's what we're doing now is we're building a foundation. Going back, this was all going back on the Canales thing. Like, I'm with you. I don't think Canales – I think we're probably about 2 years out, and I don't think Canales is – I don't think his leash is short.
Yeah.
I think they're understanding what this is. This is the most we've seen in the last 6 seasons, you know, from the coaching rotation and all of that, is having a guy in here that's actually – it appears that he's building something here.
Yeah.
And he has to have time because you can't continue to go in that cycle. Now, if we get 2 years down the road and the Panthers are still, you know, in that 8-9 win, they can't get over a hump. All right, now we are in a conversation. I was like, all right, is it the coach or is it the players?
Right.
But currently, right now, no, I don't think there's a record that get Dave Canales fired yet. I think you got to let him build, and I think it's premature on anybody, you know, Tepper, anybody to say, hey, this guy's not getting the job done because he's kind of done something that the previous guys have not, you know, outside of what you say, Matt Rule was the only thing that was somewhat promising before Dave Canales. And I don't even think Matt Rule was all that, in my opinion.
No.
So
No.
He's young. Like you say, he's young. This league is turning into a league of young coaches. You're starting to see it. So let the guy, you got to give him his opportunity to show what he can really build. Like you said, his second year. First year OC at that. I don't think a lot of people really think about that. You know, he was only 1 year at the OC and then became a head coach. So,
yeah,
you know, it's just, hey, I'm enjoying it right now. You know what I mean? I'm sure I'll be pissed off sometime again, you know, in the next 10 weeks.
Yeah.
But, right now,
I'm sure it's going to come.
Yeah. But right now, I can say I feel good about the direction that the Panthers are heading to.
Yes. Yeah, but definitely. And, you know, the wins help for sure. I would have been fine with competitive games, but I'll take the wins hands down, you know. And if we lost every game from here out, but they were all competitive, I would be, well, except for the Saints games, we better win them. Yeah, but outside of those two, if we could lose every other game but be competitive, and I'd be happy.
Yeah.
You know, I would take that. So let's move on to some league news, and let's go off to another coach that, you know, how long do you think the Aaron Glenn in New York is going to last?
I don't know why he's still there.
Okay.
I mean, my opinion. I mean, there's two guys, but we can talk about Aaron Glenn. I guess the only thing I could say is why he is still currently with his job is that offensive situation. I think the quarterback situation is what they're looking at. When we think about Justin Fields, we've only seen him start maybe, you know, there's not a large sample size of Justin Fields. He's had his moments where he's looked great, but in the same sentence, the next week he looks like what people think of Justin Fields. He's just a guy that has talent that just, to me, just can't seem to put it together at a consistent level. But I think
he's better than AR.
He's definitely better than AR. But let's be honest. I mean, if you're not the Jets, why don't you go try to trade for a guy like that? I'm not saying AR in particular, but like if you're trying to figure out your quarterback situation, you know, go get a guy that's still a project. You know what I mean? I think the Justin Fields project's over, you know, pretty much. And I think that's kind of what the Jets are looking at. So, and obviously in that game, you know, everyone wants to talk about the Carolina Reapers, but you didn't have Garrett Wilson. You know what I mean? He's a difference maker.
Yeah.
And I think they've added, you got a core there. You got Wilson. You have, you drafted, what's their tight end? Mason Taylor, which he looks to be kind of, you know, emerging as something. You got Breece Hall. And defensively, you have Quentin Williams, you have Sauce Gardner. So you have some, you know, offensive, defensive pieces to build around. I think but it's also smart. It's like one of those things. Why are you going to just give up on a guy that fast? Maybe you want to see what Aaron Glenn can do when he gets the right pieces in there. We'll just see. I mean, I think the one outside of that one is Mike McDaniel and how he's still the coach of the Miami Dolphins. But did you have thoughts on Aaron Glenn? How did you feel about,
So I think Aaron Glenn, I didn't expect firing to happen with him. I think he's a good coach, and I think the players like him. And I think they're into him, right?
Yeah.
I think the problem is that offense is horrible. And we saw, Aaron Rodgers was there. Aaron couldn't do much anything. And I thought he was completely washed, but you can watch Aaron in Pittsburgh, and it's not the same Aaron that we saw in New York. I think that offensive line, the offensive line needs to be redone and rebuilt. I think that needs to be part of their priority with getting a quarterback. I just don't think it's a very good team. You got the defense, and you got some players on offense. You got, like you said, Breece Hall. You got Garrett Wilson. Taylor does look like he could be something. They had Braylon Allen, who's out injured now. He looked good too. I mean, there was they were talking the whole back by committee thing, and then Davis, he even got a few carries against us too. But there's some pieces there in New York, but I think that offensive line is just completely horrible, and I just don't know what they expect, even from Fields. And that's one thing I can say about Fields, because they had a crap offensive line when he was in Chicago, and his best stretch of games come early with Pittsburgh last year before, he did have a little bit of a downturn, and then Russ comes back, right?
Yeah.
So I could see him working out in the right situation, but I just don't think that offensive line there is very good at all. And I think that's what their biggest weakness is on that whole team, is that offensive line, and that's why they're struggling.
Yeah. And I just want to say this. Dean literally sent me this. He said the Jets are just where the Panthers were like 4 to 5 years ago. Had our wide receiver, running back, and core defensive player.
There you go.
So, I mean, it's the quarterback situation. Offensive line, what did the Panthers do, last offseason? I mean, we currently have the most money invested in offensive line. Sometimes you got to do that. But, yeah, I think that's where I think the Aaron Glenn thing is like, hey, give him a season. Give him a season to build something. You know
absolutely.
what I mean? It's a tricky situation. But Mike McDaniels,
this
guy doesn't have an excuse. I'm sorry. You want to talk about bad press? He is terrible. I think the funny, kind of remarks he made when they were winning, how you can laugh at those because I'm winning football games, but it's not funny anymore, bro. Like, you're abysmal. I got a buddy that's a Miami Dolphins fan at work, and he said today, you know what sucks about tomorrow? I said, what? He said, I got to wake up and think about Mike McDaniel still being the coach of the Miami Dolphins. I was like, you know what? I understand. I know exactly how you feel. I know exactly how you feel. I don't know what's going on over there, man. Like, I don't.
I feel like he's lost the team, right?
Do what?
He's lost the team.
100%.
Yeah, they're beyond gone with him.
Yeah, and why he is still there? Like, it's almost, dude. Have you watched any clips of his press conferences at all? Like, he doesn't want to be there.
No,
it's like he's coming in on Mondays just to collect a check. It's like this dude doesn't seem like he's in it right now. Like, and now you're talking about the Miami Dolphins trading, I've seen Achan, possible trade candidate, Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
Like, those are your young pieces. Like, you just blow it up. Like, well, why are you going to blow it up with young players? Like, I don't get it, man. That's a crazy situation right now in Miami. And it looks bad. It really, and now Tua, I don't know what to say about Tua because I think Tua is a good quarterback. I think Tua has shown that he's a good quarterback. And maybe just his tender in Miami needs to be up. Like, he might need that reset button. How many of these guys have we seen? Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, like these guys, Jared Goff, hit a reset button, all of a sudden, hey, they're playing good football again.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Tua may need too. I think Tua needs trade Tua. If you're going to trade anybody, trade Tua. Give Quinn Ewers a shot.
Yeah.
See what you have. You know what I mean?
Drafted him, right?
If it's a lost season, why not play him?
Yeah, because they're essentially hitting reset already with a 1-6, right?
Yeah.
So at this point, I mean, I would definitely be looking.
Yeah.
New York Jets. Hey, you want a quarterback? Well, that's interdivision, so that probably won't happen. But there's teams out there that still need a quarterback.
Cleveland.
I don't know what's happening in Arizona either. I mean, is Murray going to be bouncing back? I don't know.
I don't know. I think they said maybe after the bye week, but
So,
I think
okay.
one that comes on my mind is Cleveland.
Cleveland.
I think they got a young situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think you sprinkle Tua in over there, and if you can get something out of him, or maybe he just needs a change of scenery. I mean, Judkins. I mean. They got talent, bro. They have
that
the defense,
man. Yeah.
They have the defense. You know what I mean? So I think there's a market there for Tua. But yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. That like I said, the Jets, I think the Jets situation is it's a bad situation. They just don't have the players, whereas Miami they have the players. They're young,
lost the whole thing, yeah.
But your coach doesn't have his locker room right now. And I think they're checked out on it.
And the thing who knows where it starts, right? What comes first, chicken or the egg?
Mm-hmm.
Part of it's like, how much did guys like Tyreek and with the personality that he has, how much of that doesn't fit with Mike McDaniels and his personality?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's sort of eccentric or whatever. He's just different. And an abrasive or aggressive Tyreek probably doesn't blend very well with somebody that's as quirky or whatever as McDaniels is.
Correct. Yeah.
So, it makes me wonder about, okay, you're in Miami. What kind of guys are down there? What are those guys like versus how they're going to interact with this coach that's a little bit of an oddball.
Mm-hmm.
He's sort of an acquired taste, Mike.
No, he is. Yeah.
So it just may not fit everybody. And that may be, that's another one of the things, going places for money is not always the best idea, know. And there's been drama with Tyreek for 3 seasons now since he's pretty much been there. So it's stuff like that makes me wonder if it was the players that soured the locker room to start with, and then the coach just lost it because he couldn't combat it or couldn't stop it from happening.
Yeah. I think it worked the first year he was there, or the first couple seasons, because I think he's kind of, I would say he's a player's coach in the beginning, kind of let guys be who they wanted to be. Like he allowed that to be accepted and stuff like that. But like you said, it just got out of control. Tyreek is a very outspoken person. He doesn't really hold anything in, you know what I mean? And that could be, legit, what you're saying. We've been pretty bad, but and we're in no position to talk about bad football teams.
That's true.
But I can't say it's disconnected from coach to a locker room. Outside, maybe Frank Wright was in that situation. I think he lost his guys pretty early. But it's ugly, man. That's an ugly situation, and I just don't know how much longer they're going to allow it to happen down there. Before, because like I said, you either blow it up, you fire the coach, you fire it, you get rid of all your players. But I'm starting with the coach.
At this point, I think that's where you got to go.
Yeah, start there and then see.
Yeah, and I'm surprised. I'm surprised he is still there, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I don't know, especially if Tua, if he's going to miss any time and all that. I'm with you. I'm like, all right, coach. Thank you. We're going to go in a different direction. Tua, we're going to be trading you.
Yeah, Quinn.
Where would you like to go out of the available landing spots?
Yeah. Like I said, we didn't think there was a market for Daniel Jones last year. But guess what? He just went to Minnesota, sat behind, whoever, was it Kurt? I don't know. Yeah. No, Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
And then boom, signs it. Then now look what he's doing. You know what I mean? So sometimes it ain't like, hey, I need to go start somewhere. And Daniel Jones, it wasn't like he wasn't getting paid. He was rolling in the money as a backup. Like Tua, hey, go hit a reset button somewhere. Go to LA, the Rams.
Yeah.
Matthew
Step behind
Stafford
Stafford
situation,
for right now.
you know? So I think if he becomes available, I think there's teams that make that phone call for sure. You know what I mean? But I think that's where you start. Coach, quarterback. I wouldn't be getting rid of your young pieces. Now, Waddle,
he's pushing that where you might could, it might be worth letting him go,
yeah.
especially depending on what you get in return.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Yeah, I'd be willing to go with Waddle. But I'm with you, A-Chain. I think is a piece you keep.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Him and Ollie Gordon. I mean, that's two
Yeah.
really young running backs you have.
Yep.
That's in that position you just don't let go,
No.
like that.
No.
Not in today's league. Other news, Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has ripped us one for 10 consecutive seasons.
Yeah, I think so.
I think this is just father time, man. I think this is in my opinion. You know what I mean? I think the drafting the Emeka Ibuka thing was a sign of that. It was just kind of Tez Johnson. Speaking of another young guy they have, it's revamping. It's hey, we understand the situation. Even though some fans of that team may not agree, I think I scratched my head when they took Emeka Ibuka in the first round. I was like, that don't make sense. But then when you look at it, you look at how it's kind of developed this season with the Chris Godwin situation, now the Mike Evans situations. Oh, now you're looking like a genius,
right?
Drafting Emeka Ibuka. He's a great man. I mean, we've got to see him play for, like I said, 10 years, whatever it's been, and he's dominated every season. It's just, when we get to see guys like that finish their careers, I think you're just seeing it knocking on. It's coming to an end, and that's all it is.
Yeah.
I
just, what I hated about it is, for one, why did they not bring a cart on the field for that man?
Yeah, dude.
They made him get up and walk off the field.
Yeah.
Like, bring the cart.
Yeah.
In fact, they got him to the sideline and then brought the cart to the sideline. That dude should not have walked off.
Yeah, because he locked up, bro. I mean,
yeah.
Did
you see his feet?
Yeah.
His feet just
pointed. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was ugly. It was ugly. I mean, and real time when I saw it, I was like, you could tell he fell hard, but it wasn't. I didn't think it looked as hard as what the outcome was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I knew he had fell, and I didn't even know he hit his head. I just found out today he broke his collarbone. I was like, I didn't know any of that. From the looks of what happened. You know what I mean? I know one thing when I saw it, I was like, oh, he's out. Like, he's out.
Did you see him walk off the field? His eyes were shut and his shoulders just.
Yeah.
And he's like, one guy's helping him off the field. Like, why did y'all not run the cart out?
Yeah, no, it's I don't know. Do you think? I mean, I guess they had to see it was pretty bad. You know what I mean?
I mean, you would think. I mean, I thought everybody. I mean, he went limp. So
yeah, precautionary. Even if it's like, hey, maybe he was just out for a second. Like, still, I agree. Like, hey, let's not make him walk. It ain't a bad situation. I mean, but that just shows you, man. This game is like how fast it can.
Yeah.
Be just like
we don't. I mean, he's beating the guy down. He's beating the guy downfield for this catch, right? And he caught the ball until he hit his head, and then it was lost all voluntary movement at that point.
Yeah. No, it was ugly. That was an ugly one. It was ugly. The result of it was in the situation where it doesn't look like it was that type of play caused what it did. You know what I mean? That was multiple injuries. That was a head injury. That was also a shoulder injury. It was all in one. So,
and it wasn't even a hit that caused it, right?
It was just him diving for the ball.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And if you watch the replay, and I thought about, I had the clip, and I was like, you know what? I don't want that. I don't want to put that out there. So, I said, but his head just bounced off the turf, and like Dean said, that concrete underneath that turf is hard. So, and his head is just bouncing off that thing. So, and his shoulder, it was pretty much like that, So,
I hate to see it with with a player like that. You know what I mean? Like, going
Yeah.
against them, watching our team go against them, but just knowing like how special Mike Evans was, like, or is. I'm not saying was, because obviously we don't know if
Right.
what next year holds for him, if he decides to hang it up or decides to come back or whatever it may be. But he's done it for a long time. He's done it at elite level.
Yeah.
So just another great, wide receiver, and it appears that they have replaced him with another one, which is kind of.
And they got McMillan about to come off of IR too, I think. So, man, it's like what we talked about with Baker. I mean, it doesn't matter who they're putting through there. I mean, I think Mbuka is a pretty damn good receiver.
It's truth.
Yeah. So, and I ain't gonna act like it's just anybody over there, but still, when you're looking at Jalen McMillan, who's been on IR, Baker still making stuff, still out there. Like, is he leading the league in yards? Or anyway, he's in the conversation for MVP up until this
100%.
Past Monday night, and he's out there doing it with Mbuka, Tez Johnson, and Cameron Johnson, right?
Yeah.
Like
Sterling Shepard.
And Sterling Shepard, yeah.
Sterling Shepard.
Yeah.
And
Cade Otton. And Cade Otton. Like, that's his weapons.
Yeah.
And I mean, I do think the Bucs are the class of the division for sure. I do hate that Mike Evans. I mean, like you said, he's burned us so many years in a row, but you got to recognize a great player.
Oh yeah, man.
And you hate for them not to go out on their terms, because we saw that with Luke as well. So I hope maybe he gets another season. Maybe he's been hurt most of this season. He's only played in half their games or something, 4 maybe, 4 or 5 of their games at the most. And now this, pretty much done for the season from what I saw, or expected to be put on IR. So I hope maybe he's got another season in him to come and actually go out on his own terms.
100%. And I mean, even if it comes in as a role player, look at like Keenan Allen's situation or something like that, to where, hey, I'm not what I used to be, but I'm still value. And I think Mike Evans still has value. I mean, it's crazy when you say 30, 31's old, in the NFL, but I mean, that's your career is like pretty much done, at that age in the NFL, unless you're, a quarterback. Those guys play for our kicker. Those guys play for a long time. JJ Jensen, I don't know how old he is, but my man feels like he's 50. But
I think he's my age.
But you get what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy when you say that's old in the NFL, but that's just what it is. You know what I mean? That age. But I mean, I hope I see him back. I hope we see him back. Come back. Whatever. But you're making that transition. You got a young receiving core starting to develop there in Tampa Bay. Benefits Baker Mayfield, like you said, like, is just going to continue. And seeing him out there with those young guys, guess what? That just builds that chemistry with those young guys as it goes forward. And Ibuka's looking very special right now. For real.
No doubt on that.
Speaking of another receiver, I just came to my top of my head. I want to see how you think about him. JSN, bro. JSN this season. Dog.
Dude, look, I heard so much about JSN, especially from Dean over the past couple of years. I was just like, all right, I just don't think, all right, I'm just going over to the side. But this year, I actually got him in a couple of redrafts, where he was falling to me. And I was like, you know what, man, I'm going to try it. Dude. And I got Darnold with him in one of them. So
nice.
That's been a pretty good little stack. So, out of nowhere for me, to be honest with you. I should say that, out of nowhere for me. Yeah.
I was on the fence. I mean, if you listen to this show, I'm not like the biggest on Sam Darnold. I have my opinions on him. So I had him in some leagues where I traded him. I currently roster him in, I think, 2 dynasty leagues. One I actually took over. He just was on that roster, and then one I actually drafted. So, but no, that's I want to say biggest improvement, because I'm with you. It's like, I guess you kind of thought you knew it could be possible, but like, was it going to be with Darnold? That's the way I look at it. I mean, call me a Darnold hater, whatever you want to. It's just the way I was looking at it. It's like, I didn't see this coming. Like, I thought he was a good wide receiver, but like right now, currently setting as wide receiver 1 in the league, I did not see that, coming whatsoever. It's a impressive run, man. You talk about consistency. This dude is boom, boom, boom every single week.
Yeah.
He's producing. He is a true alpha receiver for his roster. And it's showing every single week. I mean, Darnold's just finding him. He's open, bro. He's wide open. It's not even like oh, he's catching passes and breaking tackles, which he does, but he's just wide open all the time. Like nobody can guard him right now, which is crazy.
Yeah. And that's the thing with Darnold too. I think he's proven he can feed a top guy. It definitely would. Justin Jefferson last year and this year with JSN. Darnold, I mean, if you give him a top receiver, he can be successful.
It's the first 2 seasons ever had it.
Yeah.
Last year with Justin Jefferson, this year with JSN.
Yeah.
First times. So, I mean, that's what happens when you can give a guy like that. Daniel Jones is another one. I mean, when you give him a complete roster,
right?
he can definitely. I mean, I know he ain't like destroying the stat sheets. Like he isn't like he's good, but like I mean, when you talk about like MVP to me, it's like he's become the most valuable piece of that offense.
No, he's been solid.
Yeah.
And here's the thing too, like with Daniel Jones, the same thing about that was said with Saquon. People thought Saquon was going to regress or not be as good as he was with the Eagles as he was with the Giants. They tried to act like Saquon wasn't that good. What did he come out and do? Oh, he just led the NFL in rushing.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew the whole time Saquon was their best player on that Giants team, and he had nowhere near the success there that he had in Philly last year because they struggled with offensive line all those years. And what also is affected by that? Oh, it's your pass game.
Yeah.
I mean, on top of the fact of, who was his number one receivers? So you can't really put everything on them too, right?
Yeah, he had Malik Neighbors for half a season.
That's right, he did. Yeah, you're right.
But half a season, then he was, he requested to get out. But then you plug in Jackson Dart and see what he's doing in New York. Sometimes it's just a player and the right chemistry, bro. Like, I mean, that team is not a lot of difference than what it was last year. You just added Cam Scatterbo and Jackson Dart, and those two, they bring something different, and it just brings it's a culture building thing that you're seeing happen in New York right now. And unfortunate, they don't have their number one wide receiver to help, build on that. But I mean, it's crazy to see some of the situations happen in the NFL right now.
Can you tell that Daboll loves his quarterback?
110%. Like, bro, did you see when he got hurt?
That one my job, man.
Dude, when he got hurt that one game and just went in the tent, and like everybody was over there. Like Daboll walked in the tent, Scatterbo walked in the tent. Like they're really, they're really loving this Jackson Dart in New York right now.
Yeah.
Hey, it's cool, man. I like to see it.
Yeah, between him and Scatterbo, so
bro, Scatterbo's a trip, dude.
They're crazy. Did you see him on the post game against?
Bro, he's everywhere,
dude.
He's everywhere.
They're ridiculous. That's good for New York, though. That's big market. They probably love that. Who wouldn't love that from their quarterback and running back?
Yeah, no, and it's a big market city. Like, you want that in New York. You know what I mean?
Straight frat boys. I mean,
straight frat boys coming in, taking over New York. You know what I mean? And poor Jets. They're just like, why can't we get something like that? It's like they're building off something
in the same building that don't even feel like it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of guys shining, man. Hey. Drake May shining right now in New England, dude. He's looking like he's looking something special right now. Another guy doing it with not a lot. You know what I mean? He's just out there playing his game. And the NFL's been good, man. There's been a lot. You're seeing a lot of young guys like really develop and become those staples up. Talk about fantasy for a second. So I had a joke with Dean last year about fantasy. It was one draft where I told him he went all like dynasty. I was like, dude, you drafted like a dynasty player. You know what I mean? Because he took a bunch of young guys. I think this was JSN's rookie year. So this is 2 years ago.
Okay.
And that was a bad season for JSN because they still had Lockett and DK or whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So he makes a joke with me this year. He was like, one of my teams, the FFL, I'm struggling there. My rosters, if you look at my roster, it's young players. But like I told him, I was like, dude, you're starting to see it's that weird, it's that transition right now to where guys like we just talked about, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, those guys have now trickled out. And now like all the guys you're seeing at the top of the draft board and redrafts, guess what? These are all 25 and younger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're starting to see that transition of these young guys putting their names up there in elite status. You know what I mean? Your Justin Jeffersons, your Jamar Chases, your JSNs. I mean, you're looking at JSN, probably a top 5 redraft player next year. If he continues on what he's doing, he's putting his name up there with Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. But that's the weird thing for me is like you're starting to see that transition with now it's young guys up there, and you may be draft a redraft next year. It's like, damn, this does look like a dynasty team, but it's like, no, these are the guys that are good right now.
Yeah, I think John said last week. I think he said that if you drafted right now, JSN would be a top 5.
100%. 100%. If not right now, currently, I would. Who do you draft over him? Christian McCaffrey?
Yeah, right now.
Like you redraft today, Christian McCaffrey?
Yeah.
Christian. I can't really think of who else. I would say Jahmyr Gibbs probably still. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs is dogging. But no, he's definitely put himself up there in that top 5 conversation. For sure.
I mean, Chase, maybe if him and Flacco can – dude, let's talk about that.
Crazy, right?
That was one of our pick'ems too, right?
Yeah.
And so here I am. After seeing Flacco for the past 2 seasons, he was with Indy and then with Cleveland, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was he with Cleveland before he went to Indy? I forget. There was a lot of changing up in that time. But anyway, so we go from Indy to Cleveland, and I think that Flacco was washed. I was sitting there, I was like, nah, he's done. He ain't got nothing left. He goes Cincinnati, first game, don't even know their offense and the terminology like they were saying during the game.
The Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah. No, he don't just beat them, bro. He lights them up.
Yeah.
He lit them up. Yeah. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What is going on, bro? Like, no, I'm with you. I was like, there's no way Joe
Chase
Flacco
is scoring 40 or something for me.
Yeah, 45. I was like, there's no way he goes in here and they beat Pittsburgh.
Look, I was iffy too. I was like, man, maybe I should set Chase. Maybe I need to set him. And then I was like, you know what? It's Chase though. So no matter what, I gotta play him.
Did you see where the first matchup of Rodgers and Flacco was? 2012, bro.
2012.
2012 was the first time they played against each other.
So is that 13?
13 years ago.
Oh man.
13 years ago, those two guys played against each other for the first time. And then you fast forward to 13 years later.
And now they're grizzled
Thursday night football. Thursday night football, and it's Flacco versus Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
What?
I will. You know what? I want to say Thursday night games have been awesome this year.
Yeah, bro.
I can't remember a bad week, to be honest with you.
No, you would think they'd be bad.
They used to be.
And then like this year, you would think some of the ones that were like, that's okay. Then it turns out to be a good game. Speaking of a good game this week, Denver and New York, bro.
Dude, that was the comeback. Dude.
That was insane, bro. My buddy has a birthday coming up. He'll be 30. Shout out to Zach. So his girlfriend, his fiance, she threw a surprise birthday party. He worked on Sunday. So she threw him a surprise birthday party. So we all went over there on Sunday evening, and that was pretty cool sitting there watching it, with everybody in there watching it, because we all, dude, right at the end, like everybody swarmed around the TV. It was like everybody wanted to see the Broncos and the Giants. Like Bo Nix versus Jackson Dart, like came down to what it was. I was like, dude, that was a game. That was, to me, that was the best game of the week. Honestly, like that was just back and forth. Well, it wasn't even really back and forth because New York kind of dominated the first half of that football game.
Yeah.
And then Bo Nix rallied back. That's
all in the fourth.
I don't know how I feel about Denver, bro. It's like there's such a roller coaster watching them play.
It's either week to week. Now this was game in the game.
Yeah.
It was up and down. I don't know. Yeah, I had the Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders in that division, right? Right now, I mean, that still looks accurate. Chargers are dealing with injuries. The Broncos are hit and miss. The Chiefs are starting look like they may have a little bit of life in them.
They got Rashee Rice back. Fucking.
And then they blanked the freaking Raiders and what was it, 31-0?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a possibility the Chiefs are going to be charging back.
Oh, I told him. I told Hannah. I told her, I was like, watch, they're going to figure it out. I was like, they stayed afloat long enough to get Rashee Rice back. The only thing that they're lacking, Dean brought this up today to me, and I'm not going to steal it now. Because the only thing they're lacking is a run game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You get them a running back in there. Hey, people are going to be hate watching the Super Bowl again because I'm not going to say the Chiefs don't have another opportunity because that's a team you can never count out as long as number 15 is behind center and he has them weapons. Them boys, like, I'm with you. They're gonna get rolling. And Rashee Rice, you can just see the difference he makes as soon as he's back on the field with them. So
yeah, it's the thing with the thing about I lost that train of thought. What were we talking about? We're talking about
Kansas City.
Oh. The thing about the running backs with Kansas City is, Brashard Smith has looked pretty good at times, but they continue the rotations and stuff like this. I'm wondering if at some point they're going to dial in on the running back and concentrate on one running back. The closer it gets, or the more we progress through the season, by the time playoffs are here, are they going to be down to the one running back and riding the one horse? Or are they going to continue this rotation of? I mean, it's been all of them. Smith, Pacheco, Hunt, like all of them have been through it.
Think about it 2 years ago when it was Pacheco and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They did the same thing, right? They kind of rotated both those backs most of the season. And all of a sudden, Isaiah Pacheco comes in, obviously dominates down the stretch, dominates most of last year, but he hasn't been right since he was hurt last year. When he got hurt and he came back, he hasn't been the same. Kareem Hunt's just your normal backup guy, comes in, does his role. He has some explosiveness every now and then. He can score you a touchdown, 1 or 2 in the red zone. Catches the ball very well still. I think that's where he's at in his career. But no, I agree with you. I think you got to look at Isaiah Pacheco and the struggles right now. And if you got a rookie that is showing a little bit more spark, obviously, when you're dealing with rookies, it's a weird situation. I was just seeing it in Carolina. It's development. You want these guys to get comfortable in the system, and I might be with the situation it is. But right now, it's like you said. It's just I have Pacheco in a few leagues, and I have Kareem Hunt by himself in some leagues, and I'm throwing him in flex in some of the weeks because he's getting me, a touchdown, scoring me 10, 11 points in the flex. It's just where he's at. I don't understand it. But they had a run game, man.
Well, I don't want to see the Dolphins trade HN to the Chiefs.
I don't want to see that.
I mean, there might be some options out there for them at running back, if they were looking for a trade. But I don't know. Is this just the Chiefs' way? Getting by,
I was thinking it was the Raiders met with Max Crosby today and let him know they aren't shopping him and won't trade him. It's good to know.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. Anyways.
Yeah. I thought, I don't know. I thought they made a big deal about wanting to keep him like a year or so ago, wasn't it?
That was the beginning of
About
this year, I think.
was it? Yeah, so
Yeah, I think because people were asking
well,
about. I think.
yeah.
I
We
think
just
people were
signed you to a
asking
long
about
term
it.
deal. 5 months later, we want you to
Yeah.
know we're not interested. We're not trying to shop.
Yeah. I was thinking Alvin Kamara was going to be that guy for
Yeah.
Kansas City to go after, but then he comes out and pretty much says, "You trade me, I'm retiring," which was kind of a thing. And I mean, this whole time I was like, man, why isn't Kansas City going after Alvin Kamara? You know what I
Right.
mean? That would, whew,
Yeah.
that would set it off.
Well, I wonder if anything's going to happen with Olave or Rashid.
Again, man, I think that's a situation like we talked about in New York. Why?
Yeah.
Why would you trade?
I don't know. They're horrible, dude. I'm not horrible, but just the roster is not good.
I mean, and that's kind of
you got Cap.
shitty. You got cap issues, so I think that's kind of shitty on the. Now, hey, he's a grown man, but on that whole Alvin Kamara situation, like you're pretty much saying like, hey, you're stuck with me,
right?
You know what I mean? I bring you no value right now.
Right.
That's basically what you're saying. It's like if you try to trade me, you're not going to get anything out of me because nobody's going to come get a guy that's going to retire. So then you're pretty much like saying, "Ha, like I'm here." You know what I mean? And that puts a team in a bind, I think. A little bit.
I don't like. I don't know what the Saints got to do. I just know there's a lot that they need to shed, money wise, before they can really have a true investment in that roster.
Well, Olave hasn't been signed, so he's not on a long term deal. He's still young.
It would be mainly about draft capital.
Correct.
For Olave.
Going to get it. Yeah. Going to get it. But then it's like, what's the price? Like, what do you spend to go get Chris Olave with the injury history?
That's true too. Yeah.
Which concerning. So
with the talent, you're thinking a couple first, but with the history, you're like,
yeah. Will you get a first? You know what I mean? Like, will a team actually? I mean, if I'm a team like New England, am I like? I'm looking pretty good. Do I go spend that draft capital to go get a guy like that? Do I try to be
opposite of Dick for the rest of the season?
Man,
go ahead. Over?
Yeah, go ahead and get Drake May number one wide receiver for the future.
Yeah.
I think that's a move that could be done with them. I just don't know the market for Chris Olave right now.
Right.
I don't there's not a lot of wide receiver needy teams. I know it's crazy to say because every team can use another wide receiver, but at that price, whatever that price may be, I'm pretty sure it's pretty high because, like you said, in that situation, you're not going to let him go for a third or something like that.
Right.
So, talent's there. I like Chris Olave.
No, I do too. The talent, I don't think talent's the question. Like you said, it's the health, and that's what definitely downgrades his value.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is on our win streak and everything. I've been seeing this for the past couple of weeks. I just think, we're talking about the Chiefs too. Have you seen this? I've seen this picture updated with the updated records for like the past 3 weeks, I think.
That's great.
Maybe 4 weeks.
That's
funny. I saw it again today, and I was like, man, I'm going to share it.
Yeah.
I'm going to share it because every time I see this, I just get it's a light chuckle from me every time I see it.
Yeah.
Makes me feel good.
2025. I mean, Panthers have the same record as the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. But their struggles are different from our struggles. When they struggle, it's just like, we're not worried.
Yeah.
When we struggle.
It's definitely some, what is it? It's first world problems right there.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
That's what the Chiefs have.
Yeah. Hey, figuring it out. Yeah, but hey, well coached roster. For sure. You have anything else?
Yeah, so what about the Falcons? Let's talk. We talked about the Bucs. We talked a little bit about the Saints. What about the Falcons and what they've done over the past? Well, since we beat them. Has it been even the same team every week?
That's what I'm saying, man. So, you started off kind of, you beat the Vikings, 22-6, and then you come to Carolina, you drop a dud, and then you go and then you beat the Bills. So it's like, all right, like, is it a good football team? Is it like where are we at? And then you go this week, and I feel like maybe a favorite to win this week. I didn't see the spread. Let me see. What was the spread on that game? I don't know if the Falcons were favorite or not. Either way, I mean, you're going in with a team led by Mac Jones. No Ricky Pearsall. No, you get George Kittle back, but he wasn't a factor. But then you go there and then you lose. So it's like you lose by 10 points. To me, you want to talk about inconsistent football team. It's the Atlanta Falcons. You know what I mean? I'm not saying this to hate on the Falcons. They're in the division. Do I think roster configuration, are they better than the Panthers? 100%. Quarterback situation, I mean, you can still – I think I'm still taking Bryce, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That's just
Penix is disappointing me. I can tell you that.
Yeah, so I just don't know, man. I just don't know how consistent they are. What isn't allowing that consistency to happen? Like, why can't you string together a good, row of games in a row? Again, now going to San Francisco, Panthers have to go on a Monday night. So it's a tough place to go in and play for sure. But I mean, with this one, the only thing I can say is coaching. You know what I mean? Maybe you're just out coaching that situation. And then you have Christian McCaffrey, which is playing oddly very, very well, and he's healthy.
Yeah.
So I don't know, dude. It's just inconsistent. I don't understand it. I don't understand where they're at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, look, I have Christian McCaffrey in a couple leagues, and every time that son gun goes to the ground, I'm like, I'm just waiting for him not to get up one time. And I'm just going to be like, yep, I knew it was going to happen.
And it's, dude, and he's not struggling. Like,
no.
he looks like the Christian McCaffrey of when, like,
yes.
Y'all saw that post I sent. The 1 year I drafted Christian McCaffrey. The only year I've ever owned Christian McCaffrey was last year. I had the 101 in 2 leagues, and I took Christian McCaffrey at the 101 in 2 leagues last year. Every time I don't own this dude, he's it's a product that I get. Well, I get to watch happen anyways, and then you can't go trade for him. You know what I mean? Because nobody's trading a healthy Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. Well, was it 2 years ago in that the Barty Chasers that we were in? I had all them first round picks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I traded 2. Was it 2 or 3? I can't remember how many it was, but it was at least 2 first round picks and maybe a player or something to get Christian McCaffrey.
It's a gamble.
I held on to him through last year. Yeah, but he's definitely paying off this year.
Well, let's be honest. Last year, you held on to him, but do you think you would have been able to move him?
I did get offered. I don't know if it was that one, but I know John offered me a first.
Wow.
And it was a late first. It would have been a late first for him going into this year's draft. And I'm like, I'm risking reward.
I'm rolling the dice.
Yeah, I'm sticking with it.
Yeah.
I gave so much away last year. I think I owe him at least another season.
Yeah.
So, hey, stem cell research, man. You need to look into it, obviously.
Hey, we said it here. It's like, if he's healthy, you're going to have to look into it. If he plays a full 17 games this year, you have to look into it.
There's something to it.
There's something to it. There's something to it. Because this dude literally looks like he was never hurt last season. Like, it's just like the workload's there. How many carries you have? How many carries he had this week? I just want to see the workload. Christian McCaffrey had 24 carries, bro. And
carries.
And 7 catches.
Yeah. Carries. Normally he's, got more receptions than carries a lot of times anyway.
Yeah.
And here he's toting the rock actually 24 times.
He led the team in rushing and receiving.
Yep. Hey, he's it, man.
Yeah, he's the truth.
You take him off that team with Mac Jones out there.
Nah, I can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't do it. There's no way. But yeah, man, with the Atlanta Falcons, I don't even know what to think. It's do I feel like they're a threat to us? Yes, but at times, no.
Yeah.
Do I think if we played the Atlanta Falcons this week, is it different than what it was the 30-0 game? Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know if we go 30-0 on them again. That's for sure.
No, for sure. It's like what I think now. It's like what Atlanta Falcons team are you? You know, is I picked San Francisco this week. I will say that. But it's like what Atlanta team are you getting from here on out, week in and week out? Which hey, feels good going down the stretch. You know, we get to see them again. Where are we at then? Where are they at? Are they knocking on the door of the playoffs, or can we kind of keep them out again? You know, that'd be pretty cool. It's just a weird situation. I don't know. I'm not really a fan of their coach either. So
no, okay. I don't really know. I don't really know one way or the other with him, to be honest. I hadn't come down on him yet. I just know with. I mean, Christian McCaffrey aside, it's Bijan Robinson for me. I know Jahmyr Gibbs, man, that Tampa Bay game, dude broke away and was freaking like, man, he was gone. Like, and the way he was running, I'm like, that dude is walking away.
Yeah.
But I still think Bijan is better all around than what Gibbs is. And I mean, maybe 1A, 1B, but I think Bijan's the guy. And I don't know. I feel like the team needs to run through him more. I think Penix is allowed to do maybe a little too much, and maybe they want to limit his attempts a little bit more than what they are.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like he's just running for his life when he doesn't have to, and then making some bad throws too. I was expecting more out of him. I thought it was going to be. I really thought him and Bryce would sort of be lighting up the league a little bit, like a Jaden Daniels was last year. Sort of, you know, as a coming out in their sophomore seasons or in Penix's sophomore season, but yeah, it just hadn't happened like that. But the defense, man, is up and down too. Maybe that's part of being young guys over there too. You know, they put a lot in the draft as well on the defensive side of the ball this past year, so it could have something to do with that. But they're like us. It's not the same team every week.
No, and Bijan only had 14 carries in that game. You want to see that up, you know, up there, that Christian McCaffrey numbers, that 24, 25, somewhere in there is where you want to see a guy like that. Because I agree with you. He's a different kind of player than Gibbs. Gibbs is definitely speed. He's more agile, whereas Bijan has the speed but also has the power behind it. He can really he can poster you for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they have one of the best backs in the league, and receiver wise, they got Drake London. I think he's no scrub. Kyle Pitts, you know, he had a good game, just inconsistent. So
he's probably his best pro season so far. I think our best start to the season so far.
For sure. I think they released. I know they released Ray McLeod today. I did see that.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, so I don't know. You never again. You might see a different Atlanta Falcons this week.
Yeah.
Oh well, they play the Dolphins, so I hope so. Maybe they're the ones that ends Mike McDaniel's run. And then another game we could bring up. Another team is a big the Washington Commanders, bro.
Yeah.
What is going on in Washington right now?
I don't know. And what? Yeah. I mean, the wide receivers, because Debo was out, on top of McLaurin being out.
You know what it is for me, though? I agree with you on that. I think offensively, that's the problem. It's how bad the defense is this year.
Yeah, that's true, too. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, not only do I watch every Panthers game, I watch every Washington game because Hannah is a Washington fan. So we sit here and scream at the TVs together. It's chunk yardage, bro. It's not even like teams are just grinding on them. It's just they're just gashing them every single play. I was watching it against Dallas, and I was like, wow. Like, y'all, they couldn't tackle anybody.
Yeah.
And you talk about a team last year that was just on the ball, wrapped up, turnovers, sacks. Like, they were obviously one of the best defenses in the league last year. And I don't think you had a lot of turnover. I guess
No, I don't think so.
you lost Jeremy Chin, but you bring back Frankie Louvu, which was, I think he was all pro last year. That's the biggest surprise for me is the defense. Is like it's against Dallas, whatever, but it's been like that all season. They haven't been able to stop anybody at all. But yeah, again, offensively, I get it. They're struggling. I mean, Jane Daniels hurt again for the second time this season. Yeah, I don't know. It's not a good situation in Washington. But this was one thing I told Hannah, coming into the season. She was like, "What do you think about the Commanders this year?" Obviously, y'all know what I thought about them. I said they're going to win the NFC. You know what I mean? I was smoking something pretty good. But it was the expectation, and that's what I told her. I was like, coming in, your expectations so high.
Yeah.
And that's never a good thing. When you're expected to be one thing, every small thing's a failure. You know what I mean? People are going to look at you different because they're expecting something so much different. Can you say it's a sophomore slump from Jaden? Yes. He hasn't played to the degree that he played last year. Again, he's been hurt. We can't, I can't take blame it all on him. He has been injured. But again, even when he's on the field, there's just some plays he's not making that he made last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think his decision to when to keep the ball and run with the ball has changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas last year seemed like a more quicker, more natural thing. He knew when to get out of the pocket, when to run, and when to pass. I think they're struggling. The run game, I'm sorry, but Bill Krosky, he's showing you why he was a late round draft pick. Watched him against Chicago, and he was running the back of offensive linemen. That's what happens when you get a guy like that doesn't have the draft capital behind him. There's a reason why he was drafted late, and you're starting to see it. Yes, he has explosiveness. He does show pop and those big explosive plays at times, but that's when he's in the open. You get him out in the open, you pass him the ball, he can make it happen. But him running behind under center, like, it doesn't look good for their situation. And you lost Austin Eckler this year. You're kind of your tone setter. We talked about it earlier.
You traded away Brian Robinson Jr.
And you traded away Brian Robinson Jr. And that was, I think you're looking back at that saying that probably wasn't a good idea.
That was a misstep.
I don't know.
And the thing was, Jaden relied heavily on Ertz last year too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I said it a few weeks ago. He sort of went away from that.
Mm-hmm.
Was it the Chargers game? I think it was. I don't know. Anyway, he hadn't been targeting Ertz as much as he did last year.
No.
And there's not another tight end that's stepping up. And I don't think it's an Ertz situation. I just don't think he's been targeted. It's not like he's not getting, not catching the ball or something like that, or not doing anything with it. He's just not getting it.
Yeah.
Not getting the opportunities. So I think McLaurin being out, definitely. I mean, your number one guy has been out for a majority of the season. He did.
He came off a career year,
Yeah. So, and then Debo's injury now, I would expect them to bounce back a little bit toward the end of the year. And this is the thing with the defense. Like, as bad as the offense has been, the defense has had to be on the field a lot more because the sustained drives haven't been there.
Correct.
And big plays haven't been there.
Correct.
So you haven't been putting up any big numbers. You haven't been able to sustain the drives, which puts more pressure on that defense and just more opportunities for failure, to show up on the defensive side. I think there could be a bounce back. I definitely didn't expect them to. I expected them, and here's the thing: the tough division, man. The Giants are coming up. They're not looking like slouches anymore. They got some energy in that building. You got the Eagles defending Super Bowl champs, still doing their thing, and the Cowboys, one of the top offenses in the league. Even with their defense, somehow against Washington, they figured out something. The commentators try to act like they fixed their run defense for some reason. But I think it's like what you said. I think it's more to do with Washington's personnel on that side than anything. I don't think necessarily that Washington all of a sudden figured out how to stop the run.
No.
So,
No.
yeah, it's a. I think. I mean, I picked them to finish third in that division. It's probably where they're going to finish.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, you're looking right. You're looking right. And I said it when I picked them. I'm probably going to be wrong about this one, but but speaking of offensively, that's one thing. If you think about a Cliff Kingsbury offense, like it's either on or it's off. Like there's no in between in that offense because it's an air raid offense. You know what I mean? You need the field stretchers in that type of offense.
Yeah.
I think that's one reason why it didn't work in Arizona, because he didn't have the pieces that he needed to run his style of offense. Last year it worked. You know, I mean, you had healthy McLaurin. He had a career year last year, was able to stretch the field. Who was their other wide receivers last year? You had McLaurin.
Exactly.
Yeah, you had McLaurin. So, I mean, that's a big thing about his offense, and it's always been like that. You know what I mean? It's an air raid offense. It's weird because if it's rolling, it's almost like an offense you can't stop. But like whenever it's not going, it's like you can shut it down very easily when you don't have the pieces you need. So, and there's no
quarterback health plays a big into it too. So
of course, yeah, for sure. But hey, it happens. You know what I mean? You're having a down year. You know, like you said, I think they do figure some stuff out down the stretch, and they just got to piece it together. Do I still think they can make the playoffs? Maybe if they can put a stretch together. Obviously, Jade Daniels' health is a concern right now.
Yeah.
But if they can get fully healthy wide receivers, get Debo, get McLaurin back, get Jaden back, figure out the run game on how you want to. Because right now you're talking about a rotation with Rodriguez and McNichols and Bill. You just got to figure that out too. Because right now all those guys are looking mid, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
So.
And the biggest misstep again is trading. Looks like now is trading Brian Robinson. So
yeah.
That looks like the biggest misstep for Dallas right now.
Yeah, for Washington.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I said Dallas.
Yeah.
Whatever. You know what I'm talking
and
about.
he's back there running behind Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
He ain't getting no burn. So
yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But he's on a winning football team. So
yeah.
Some guys are just
fight it all. Yeah.
We're winning games. So
all right. You want to get us some picks?
Let's get it.
All right, let's start off with Thursday night football. This week, it's the Vikings at the Chargers.
I don't like this one.
Yeah, I don't either. I hadn't really thought about any of these. I just wrote them down. I hadn't thought about my picks or anything. So off the cuff, I'm gonna give you my prediction on this one first, because I think last time I ended up going last on most of them. So Vikings at Chargers. It's tough right now. Chargers dealing with injuries and stuff. The Vikings coming off of a loss to the Eagles, where it was a tight game. And man, it's just the Chargers. I don't know what to really expect right now. They were sort of lighting it up a little bit through the air, but I wish they had a more solid run game to sort of complement right now. But Vikings at Chargers, I'm going to say Vikings are going to get this one.
All right. I'm going to go Chargers. I'm going to go with the home field advantage. I know it's dicey with the Chargers right now. The run game is obviously lacking right now. I just think you got to get Ladd, and you got to get Quentin Johnson, figure out what you were doing with him at the beginning of the year and do more of that, because that obviously worked early. Obviously, because the run game wasn't crazy in the beginning of the season. Marion was actually struggling to start off.
Yeah.
I think they figure it out. At home, it's a get right game for them. I think we mentioned earlier about Kansas City on the emergence. So I feel like, hey, if you want to stay competing in this division, you have to figure something out. So I'm going to go with the home team in this one.
All right. And Dean and John are taking Chargers as well.
So I'm on rider.
Yep. All right, let's go with your game next.
All right, yeah, my game is the Broncos at Dallas. No, Dallas at the Broncos.
Yeah.
Hey man, we just talked about the Broncos. They're kind of inconsistent. They're really up and down. We saw New York handle them in the first half. I think if you let Dallas get out to a lead like that, I don't know if you can. I know the defense isn't hot, but they figured something out against Washington. I don't know if that's just how bad Washington is currently. But again, I don't believe in the Broncos right now. They still have to figure it out. Now, JK could come out and have 200 yards. But I'm going to go. You got CeeDee Lamb back. I think that opens up the offense even more. Ferguson, Pickens, Dak's playing obviously still well, and you got Javonte Williams back there. So I'm going to go with the better offense, in my opinion. Could be a shootout, could not be. But I think Dallas goes in and Denver and gets this one.
All right. I'm going to let's see, looking at this. I guess I'm going to put you on the island by yourself on this one, and I'm going to go with the Broncos with James and Dean. I mean, with John and Dean. I'm gonna take the defense, the better defense at home is, I guess, what I'm going to go with here.
All right.
Next game, let's go. My game is Bears at Ravens. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So here's the thing. Games this week sort of suck, I think.
Yeah.
So it was hard to find a game that I even really cared about. Not that I really care about this one, but it was the best I could find and like closest matchup I thought that I could maybe pick a winner on. Which it sort of hurts me because I'm going to go Ravens because I just don't see Harbaugh continuing to – I mean, we're talking one win.
Yeah.
They've got one win. And if something don't turn around, we could be talking about a coach change happening here too, I think. So I'm thinking coming off a bye and all that, I'm going Ravens.
Oh, I mean, I was going with you. Coming off the bye, they have to right the ship here, and it's at home. If you're going to correct something, it's correct it right now, because if you don't, you fall 1-6. It's just you're not going to call yourself out of the hole. And the division is weird because the division's not out of reach. It's
right.
it's so very, very mid right now. And I think the Ravens understand that. I think you're going to get a healthy Lamar Jackson back. They're going to figure something out offensively. Maybe Derrick Henry has put the fumbling situation behind him. He kind of carried the ball all bye week this week. But, yeah, no, I think they right the ship for sure this week. And, get the Ravens rolling.
All right. And let's see. Dean is taking the Bears. And
Dean's buying in.
John's got the Ravens.
Dean's on an island. Damn, we had every game somebody's been on an island. That's crazy.
All right. Dean's game, Packers at Steelers. I think or is it my turn or your turn?
I'm going to go Packers, man.
Okay.
Yeah,
Packers.
I like Packers here. I think it's pretty simple. I think they're the better team right now. Steelers are still trying to figure some things out. They're up and down, obviously, and they just lost to Joe Flacco and Cincinnati Bengals. So
yeah, and Rodgers got tackled by his offensive lineman.
Yeah, he was mad, bro.
I would have been too. Dude, I'm the oldest quarterback in the NFL, oldest starting quarterback in the NFL. Just threw a touchdown pass. Why the hell are you tackling me?
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense. He was pretty heavy-handed with it too.
Yeah.
I sort of want to pick the Steelers here. You know what? I'm going on the island. We're going to keep it on the island.
All right.
I'm going Steelers.
All right. We got 1 minute to rip out 2 games.
All right. John's games, Browns at Patriots.
I'm going to go Patriots.
I'm taking – that's going to be a good game, actually. I missed that game. But I'm going to take Patriots. You said right. Patriots.
Yep. Dean takes Cleveland. All right. Last game. Bills at Panthers. I'm going to go Bills. I'm sorry. I mentioned it earlier. I gave you the reasons why. Prove it. Prove it. Prove me wrong, please.
Yeah. I'm going to take I'm taking Bills. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. Look, I took the Jets last week. Mainly, I knew we had an opportunity to win it, but at that point, I was just like, I'm just going to go against them because I'm all right if they prove me wrong,
Yeah.
But I don't want to buy in.
Prove me wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong in this one. Please, Lord, be wrong.
Bills for me, Bills for everybody in this one. Hope that we're all wrong, but yeah, Bills across the board. So hopefully we're back here on another victory podcast next week. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Y'all are still here. Thank y'all for following.
Delone fires to an open Smith. Steve Smith is going to go all the way. No flags down. Smith scores, and the Carolina Panthers win in overtime.
With the first pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Bryce Young, quarterback,